They say your attitude affects your altitude. What you're thinking, your general way of thinking determines how high you ascend in life. It's one of those phrases that it's kind of corny, but if you walk around a high school or a college, it's one of those things that's like posted in the hallway. Okay, speaking of colleges and schools, if you're looking for inspiration, hope, or optimism walking around a college campus, definitely provides that. Welcome to another episode. Anyways, welcome to another episode of Self-Employed Success Secrets, weekend edition with me, your host, Marcus. On today's episode, we're going to talk about a simple phrase that offers a unique attitude twist, but it really gives dramatic results, no exaggeration, okay? And this is what the phrase is. The phrase is, okay, it has to do with your goals and aspirations that you have in your life. You probably have big dreams. You probably want to do something substantial with your life that's going to be difficult. Okay, and that's where a lot of us, we kind of go off the wrong path, I think, is that we look at something, let's say you want to have a successful business. Okay, we're talking about being self-employed on this channel. You want to have a successful business. You want to make a lot of money. You want to help a lot of people. And you're like, oh man, you look at it and you're like, man, it's possible, but it's difficult. And then we kind of go down after that. And the problem with that is when you look at it from it's possible, but it's difficult. You go from optimism to negativity and you're just like, okay, yeah, it's possible, but the chances of it happening to me are pretty low. Okay. And on today's episode, there will be no surprise. Okay. I really want you to consider what I'm talking about. This is a consideration episode. Okay. But if you flip it and you say to yourself, okay, it's difficult, you get the negativity out of the way, but it's possible. Okay. One phrase opens the door to stuff. The other closes the door to stuff. Hey, buddy. Dog ran up to me. And you want to flip that, okay? Because when you're self-employed, you're going to have a lot of difficulties. I have difficulties all the time. I got deadline difficulties all the time where I have the due date difficulties. I don't like to use the word deadline. I don't want anything dead to be where I am. So due date. A lot of times you're self-employed, you're going to have a lot of projects going on and a lot of stuff due at the same time. And you've got to figure that out. Yes, it's difficult to do, but it's possible. Instead of being it's possible, but it's difficult. And that just zaps your energy. So the main point of this video is that flip how you see things when it comes to the difficulties in your life. If you start with, yes, it's difficult, but it's possible, it's more hopeful, more optimistic. And if you start with, okay, it's possible, but it's difficult. Okay. Because anything substantial you're going to be doing is going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. It's going to take time. And so I just really want you to consider that on your self-employment journey, because it's extremely difficult. If it was easy, more people would do it. Okay. And that's something I want you to think about today. So let's go from, okay, it's possible, but it's difficult, which is, it brings dismay, that analysis of that quote, and then flip it to, okay, it's difficult. You're approaching the brick wall. It's always good to approach, the problems that you have. And then you're like, okay, but it's possible. You go from one attitude, it's like, okay, it's possible, but it's difficult. You go down. Another attitude is difficult, but it's possible. You go up. It's literally the exact opposite. You flip it. So I really want you to consider that. In terms of how you see your overall life, whether you're self-employed or not, whether you're working to be self-employed, you're going to face obstacles. I lost all my clients the first day of me being, so I had zero income at one point. On the very first day, it was my last day at work, and they all were like, yeah, we're leaving. I raised the prices for all the people I was working with one time. They all left. Okay, because I didn't know the price elasticity of demand, which is the responsiveness to prices. But I'll probably talk about that in another episode. Price elasticity is important. There's a lot of things that are important that are hard that you got to look at. And so I want to help you to change your attitude, because as corny as that phrase is, your attitude determines your altitude. It's true. Okay, how you think is going to determine how you live, what you believe, and things like that. So I just want you to consider that. Really think about today. Is your attitude more, okay, it's difficult, but it's possible, which is it's hopeful. It opens the door to good things happening. Okay, that's difficult to have a business, but it's possible. It's difficult to have a good life, but it's possible. People have done it. And it's always good to look at people who are doing it. Or is it more, okay, it's possible, but it's difficult, man. And then you kind of end things on a negative note. You're like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Most businesses fail. And, whatever you give attention to, whatever you give focus to, it grows. And so if you focus on, okay, it's difficult, but it's possible, things are going to grow. If you focus on it's possible, but it's difficult, things are going to shrink. Okay. So just consider that today. I think the best thing to do, and I just learned this recently, is just that try to be as optimistic as possible, okay? Like say yes to things so you can grow, okay? The reasons why a lot of good stuff happens is because you said yes to it. So when you go from, okay, it's difficult, but it's possible, you're saying yes to it. When you go from it's possible, but it's difficult, you're saying no to it. Okay, it's difficult, it's hard. I don't like to do hard things. Almost no one likes to do hard things. That's the only way you're going to go up. You got to climb the mountain in life. And so just want you to consider that today on this Saturday because it matters. Your attitude really does matter. As Sarah Blakely said, your mindset is everything. She's the epitome of someone who is successful. Okay, she started very bravely. Okay, that's something you're going to have to do if you're going to be successful. So I just want to just leave you with that point. And just remember that, as always, unsuccessful people they make decisions based on their current situations, but successful people, you hopefully make decisions based on where you want to be. Okay, let's flip our attitude, not be backwards. As the Bible says, if you do things backwards, you're going to bring woe to yourself. Okay, let's go from thinking it's possible, but it's difficult, to it's difficult, but it's impossible. It's a very simple attitude shift that brings dramatic results. If you try, it's pretty cool. You will feel the lightness in your brain as you think about that switch. Just a simple switch, but it can help you in a lot of ways. Okay, thank you so much. Bye.